Chapter 354. A Muslim Girl in the West, Section 7. The FBI team returned from Khartoum to Athens without gaining any new information. They worked hard to get some knowledge about the gunmen that attacked the police convoy and rescued Dr. Ibtihal, but they got nothing. They searched in vain for the Zubaydi man and his caravan who smuggled Dr. Ibtihal from Sudan to Libya. They tried to gain some information about the whereabouts of Dr. Ibtihal's boyfriend, but they gained nothing. They talked to so many doctors and nurses in Soba hospital, but no one claimed to have seen him from the time he got arrested and convicted of kidnap and rape. The only information they were able to get about him was that after he was released from jail he sold his house and all properties. Through the Khartoum police they were able to have access to his bank accounts. His bank statement revealed that he withdrew all his money and closed his accounts. Meanwhile, Dr. Ibtihal remained confined in a small cell. She was desperate and lonely. She concluded that she would be in jail for a very long time. She understood that she was a victim of wicked conspiracy. She began to doubt the honesty of everyone she met in the Muslim women's shelter. How could everyone deny that there was a girl by the name of Salama? How could Aisha, Hafsa, Khadija, and Zainab deny the existence of a roommate who lived with them by the name of Salama? How could the two new Egyptian girls, Afaf and Noha, and the Lebanese girl, Maryam, say that they had not known or seen a girl by that name? Why did Sister Sakina and Brother Abbas deny that they had met me on the day of my arrival and took me to the Arab Muslim women's shelter? Those questions tormented and haunted the mind of Dr. Ibtihal every second and every minute. After the first hearing, the Greek police did not bother Dr. Ibtihal like before. They seemed to have collected enough evidences to keep her behind bars for the rest of her life. They could not find any new accused or uncover how the attacks were planned and successfully carried out. The only thing they were able to know so far was that a woman made a call to some terrorists in Iraq and informed them that the attacks would be carried soon in Athens. They could neither find those terrorists nor stop the attacks. Since the day Dr. Ibtihal was arrested, no one ever visited her except the interrogators. Even those who served her food did not speak a word with her. She was not allowed to mix with anyone. Dr. Ibtihal was surprised one day when the guards told her that one woman came to meet her. She was handcuffed on her hands and legs. 2 guards escorted her to the visitor's room. She had no idea who comes to see her. She thought the visitor might be the Sudanese woman whom she visited her house once and had lunch with her. When she entered the visitor's room, she was surprised to see that her visitor was a young white lady. She had never seen that woman before. Neither Dr. Ibtihal nor her visitor knew that their conversation would be monitored and recorded. Dr. Ibtihal sat on a wooden stool and looked blankly at the white woman who came to visit her. There was a net of bars separated them. The white woman smiled before she spoke to her in wavering and a bit frightened voice. "My name is Jennifer Jackson. I am a medical doctor. I am at present working in the Sudanese refugees camps in Chad." Jennifer paused and cleared her throat. "I heard about your problem and I have come to talk to you. I want to help you, Ibtihal. I know your boyfriend. He is a good friend of mine." "Which boyfriend are you talking about?" asked Dr. Ibtihal surprisingly. "Dr. Samir. He sent me to you." "Is Dr. Samir alive? Do you know him? Have you seen him? Is he in prison? Where is he now?" "Dr. Samir is alive and not in prison. He works with me in Chad with the UN medical team." "Thank you so much, Jennifer. You brought to me the happiest news in the world. I miss him so much." "He is missing you too, dear. He is so worried about you. He could not sleep or eat from the day he came to know that you are held here." "I have done no wrong. I have done nothing to deserve to be here. I have been falsely accused. So many people I have trusted have conspired against me. I am innocent," said Dr. Ibtihal while bitterly crying. "Also your boyfriend believes so. He strongly believes you are innocent. He has sent me here to help you. He said he would kill himself if anything bad happens to you. Dr. Ibtihal, I want you to tell me everything. Remember, this is Europe and not Sudan. No one here can be condemned without a fair trial. I want Dr. Samir to come here. I miss him so much. I suffer quite enough. I don't deserve all this suffering. He can't come here, that is why he sent me to you. He has no passport. He is still a refugee in Chad. For how long should he and me have to suffer? We suffered enough in Sudan. Why should we suffer all our lives? The only way out for you is to tell me the truth. How did you land here? Why did the Greek police arrest you? Tell me everything. Hide nothing from me. I am ready to appoint a lawyer for you. Dr. Ibtihal was encouraged by the words of Jennifer Jackson and narrated her tragedy from the time she was rescued and kidnapped by the gunman until the time she was arrested and accused of taking part in the brutal terrorist attacks in Athens. After hearing her story and seeing her many tears, Jennifer decided to appoint a lawyer for Dr. Ibtihal. However, the Greek police told her that she had already had a lawyer. Jennifer went and met Dr. Ibtihal's lawyer and had a big fight with her. Someone has to pay for it, shouted the lawyer after Jennifer irritated her with many questions. What do you mean? Why does she have to pay for others' crimes? She is the prime suspect. The police have gathered enough evidences against her. The police still works in conjecture. She is the only one who told 100 lies to the police. She said she told the truth. First, she lied about her country of origin. Secondly, she lied about a girl by the name of Salama. All the shelter's women said there was no girl by that name. Thirdly, she lied about a pious Muslim couple and said that they met her on the day of her arrival and took her to the shelter. When the police talked to those Muslim husband and wife, they said they had seen her only once, and that at the Athens Grand Mosque. So, you can't trust a person who tells lies in order to hide facts. She said she is innocent, said Jennifer. If she tells you she is innocent, that doesn't mean I can convince the court that she is innocent, said the lawyer. But maybe she is telling the truth and others lying. She is a fucking liar. Oh my God, you hate her. Do you expect me to love a terrorist who took a part in killing my own people? Then why did you agree to be her lawyer? It is our fucking judicial system which requires us to appoint lawyers to defend our murderers. You shouldn't have accepted the offer. If not me, someone else has to be her lawyer. You are wrong. This is an European country and not an Arab country. Even the worst criminal must have a fair trial. If this woman get tried without a sincere lawyer to defend her case, then what the difference between Greece and Sudan? What the difference between the Sharia court that tried her without a lawyer and the court here? I don't want to go into that. One thing I know for sure. This woman deliberately lied to the police, and that is going to come against her. I can't defend a liar. Then drop the case and let another lawyer take over. If I drop the case, are you going to find a lawyer and pay his fees? I am not talking about money. There are lawyers who work for human rights organizations. These lawyers can represent her in court. Fine, go and get one of them and let him defend her. Before I do that, I am going to go to the media and tell them why I think you are not the right lawyer for her. You know, if you do that, you will do me great favor. The media already accused me of treason for representing a terrorist. Even my own husband and children are against me. Go please and tell the media that I hate my client and consider her a fucking liar and a dangerous terrorist. Jennifer Jackson did not need to go and look for the media. They were there standing all the time in front of the lawyer's office looking for something to fuel the terrorist's case. Jennifer told them every word the lawyer had said about her client. The Greek police hid the new developments of Dr. Ibtihal's case from the FBI team. Nevertheless, the interview of Jennifer's by the media in front of the lawyer's office gave them new lead again. They went all the way to Sudan to look for the boyfriend of Dr. Ibtihal, but Jennifer brought him to their doorsteps. As soon as they got the news, the FBI team met with her. From her they got much information about the case of Dr. Ibtihal in Sudan. Immediately they sent a team to Chad to talk to Dr. Samir face to face. The team met with Dr. Samir and interrogated him. From him they gathered new information and evidences that they knew were going to change the course of their investigations in the terrorists' attacks on Athens. For the second hearing, Dr. Ibtihal had two new lawyers. The Human Rights Center in Athens appointed a lawyer to represent her in court. The US FBI had their lawyer too. The Greek police did not appreciate these new arrangements. They felt that the FBI team was publicly challenging their capabilities to handle the terrorists' case. They also felt the switching of the lawyers by the Human Rights Center in Athens was another challenge to them. Jennifer Jackson decided to stay behind and attend the second hearing. In fact, she had been encouraged by the new lawyer to stay behind and attend the second hearing. The Greek police still kept the four girls, Aisha, Hafsa, Khadija, Zainab, in detention, although it could not establish enough evidences to prosecute them. The Islamic group that owned and ran the women's shelter and the mosque appointed a lawyer to fight their case. 1 month passed since the girls in the Arab Muslim women's shelter were arrested in connection with the terrorists' attacks on Athens. On the second hearing day, all the 5 accused girls were brought before the court. The hearing began by reading the charges that laid on the 5 female suspects. Then, the court gave permission to the lawyers to represent their defense on their defendants. The first lawyer started was the one who was appointed by the Islamic Committee. "Your Honor, the judge and the revered jury," said the lawyer. From his accent everyone knew that he was an immigrant from an Arab country. "The Athenian police had arrested my 4 defendants, Aisha, Hafsa, Khadija, and Zainab, with the connection of the cowardly terrorists' attacks that done by some religious fanatics. The police arrested my defendants on the false statement that made by a woman who lived with them in the same room at the Arab Muslim women's shelter. This shelter is known for its strict rules. It is a place where new immigrant and pious Muslim women are given free lodging for 2 months until they find their way and get incorporated into the Greek society. It has never before happened that the Athenian police had any troubles with any woman from the shelter. As the investigations revealed, a woman made phone call from the shelter and informed some terrorists in Iraq that some attacks on its way on the city. The police acted quickly and arrested all the 50 young women of the shelter. The police then had interrogated them all. The interrogations revealed that all the 45 women are innocent and hence they had been released. Based on a statement of a single woman, the police detained 5 women who were roommates. The woman in question claimed that there was a 6th roommate by the name of Salama who was behaving suspiciously. The other 4 women said there was no woman by that name. The shelter administration also stated that there was no woman by that name. Everyone in the shelter said there was no woman called Salama. The shelter admission book did not include that name. That woman, I believe, existed only in the mind of that woman who testified to the police and mentioned her name. Regarding my 4 defendants, 3 of them had already left the shelter and started their social lives somewhere else. Aisha found a job in the Egyptian embassy, Khadija too found a work to do, Hafsa got married to a man by the name of Mohammed al-Somali from her country of origin, Zainab was dismissed from the shelter for some moral misconduct. The shelter management would not tolerate any immoral behavior because it is the place where the women were supposed to learn the moral teachings of Islam so that they could obtain virtues and righteousness. Only Ibtihal was there when the arrest took place. Based on the lack of evidences against my 4 defendants, I request this revered court to release my defendants immediately. Thank Your Honor and the revered jury and the court. As soon as the lawyer of the 4 girls finished his defense, the first lawyer of Dr. Ibtihal stood up and began his defense. Your Honor, the judge and the revered jury. Among all those 5 girls who are accused of those terrible acts, my defendant is the last person in that shelter is supposed to be accused. This is because my defendant is not a Muslim. Because she forsook her Islamic faith a few months ago, my defendant was sentenced by the Islamic Sharia court in Sudan to be hanged to death. Now who could believe the same woman who was sentenced to death would change in such a short time and take part in such cowardly Islamic terrorist attacks? My defendant managed to escape the death penalty and went to Libya. In Tripoli she met a Libyan man. This man cheated her and took $2,000 from her and gave her false visa to Greece. The same man gave the address of a couple in Athens. He told her that the couple would receive you and provide for you a 2 months free accommodation. A man by the name of Abbas and his wife Sakina met my defendant on the day of her arrival and took her to the Arab Muslim women's shelter. "Objection, Your Honor," shouted the former lawyer. "Objection sustained," said the judge. The Athenian police had already interrogated Abbas and Sakina and they said they had not met the woman in her arrival and they had not took her to the shelter. The shelter administration confirmed their statements and said that the woman herself came and lied to them and claimed to be Muslim. Abbas and Sakina saw this woman only once in the mosque during the Friday public prayer. "Your Honor," continued Dr. Ibtihal's lawyer, "we have here evidence that Sakina visited my defendant in the shelter and wrote this letter and made my defendant to sign it." In the letter Sakina wrote that she and her husband Abbas had received my defendant on the day of her arrival and took her to the women's shelter. It is obvious that Sakina, Abbas, and some people in the shelter's administration are lying about this matter. The lawyer walked toward the judge and handed over the letter that Sakina wrote and made Dr. Ibtihal to sign it. This letter Sakina would never expected that it would return from Sudan and exposed her. Since the letter was written in Arabic, the lawyer submitted an official translation of it and gave it along with the letter to the judge. The judge read the translation and ordered the arrest of Sakina and Abbas and those who falsely testified with them. "The court is adjourned until another hearing day," shouted the judge.